Hey everybody, welcome to the May 4th episode of the Nat Daddy Weekly Roundup, where we cover this week's new books, especially indie heavy books. And let's jump right into it. First thing first, let's thank some of the people who helped make this show responsible and happen. It is 204 Comics, local comic shop in the Winnipeg area. Do come check them out, especially Free Comic Book Day coming up this weekend. So we'll touch on that a little bit more in a bit. And Primo's Wrestling of Winnipeg as well too. Lots of live wrestling events coming up this spring. We've posted a bunch of new dates coming up on our page the other day there, so definitely follow that up. Again, more of that to come soon enough. Like we were saying here, we do have the Things Are Getting Sketchy. Sorry, Things Are Getting Sketchy group as well too. Um, they're a great stuff that we like to take a part of too. Things Are Getting Sketchy is the weekly art show that takes place on Saturday evenings. We get 4 or 5 artists together, comic book artists, some are tattoo artists, some are digital artists, some mainly deal in painting and that, and they all get there together, and we have themes. So this weekend, the theme is 90s Muppet mashup again. Seems to be quite a popular one, and there's some great guests on there this week. We have who else? We got Nathan Burton Phillips again. Carl Waller is going to be on there. Maybe just check. I believe Mike Ruth, and I know we were just double checking everybody's, making sure that their schedules were still good in that. But yes, Casey's gonna be back. That was awesome. I enjoyed having her before, and Thomas as well too. So that's awesome. And there's one more guest as well. You got me. I'll be hosting as well. So that's awesome. Always enjoy doing that. And things are getting dicey. That's happened last Monday there. Happens every second Monday. That is the um, Things Are Getting Dicey show, which is us playing a bunch of D&D type role-playing games. And we have fun and we have act silly. And hopefully you guys are amused, the few that do watch. Spread the word, man. Maybe we get more people playing. We get more creativity going on there. Lots and lots of fun. We have, like I mentioned a little bit earlier this week, coming up on the weekend, Free Comic Book Day. So do go support your local comic book store. Check out one of, I think there's up to 40 different free comic books there available. Not all the stores have got all 40 bucks, and not all stores will let you get copies of every book. So I know at 204, they will let you get up to 6 copies of one copy of any 6 books, and that's it, because they want to make sure everybody else gets a chance of everything. So do be aware of that before you go in. And the weekend after that, on the Sunday, which is Mother's Day, finally it's here. It seems like we've been talking about this forever now. We have the Chip Zdarsky signing going on at 204 Comics, part of his Canadian tour, going across Canada, making one stop in Winnipeg, and it happens to be there. So that's from 11 to 2 on the following Sunday. Do check it out. You can bring up to 10 books to get signed. No charge for anything for these books and that. Just signatures. No remarks, no artwork or anything like that. So, no, don't ask them. Hope to see you guys there for both weekends. Like I said, this weekend, Free Comic Book Day. And on the following Sunday, Mother's Day, is the Chip Zdarsky signing. But let's get into the stuff that you did want to see this week. What's new? Starting off, we have the covers of the week, and this one is both kind of Batman heavy. We have the Alex Ross Batman 900 or Batman 135. We'll be covering that later in the show. This one was an Alex Ross exclusive, so you'll be paying a little bit more for this one. I believe I saw it's $30, probably just on his website, but very awesome to see all the classic Batman villains there done in that 60s style or golden age, silver age style. So that's pretty cool. And then to the right of that, we have copies of the Batman facsimile reprint of first appearance of Poison Ivy. So that's always cool. I love these facsimiles because they're not just reprints in the sense that they're reprinting the story, but they're a true facsimile where it has like page for page. So you even get some of the old ads in there as well too. So you have the normal copy, which is there, and the one that I want for cover of the week is the one on the right there. If you can notice, it's a little hard to take a picture of these types of covers. It's one of those foil covers. So they've been doing that for well, quite a few of those lately too. So yeah, the foil cover is neat. You know, it's neat to display in that. But yeah, definitely check that out because how many of us can actually afford a copy of that real book and know and want to actually handle it and read it, right? So pretty cool there. All right, first book of the week. And we got a lot of indie books here this week, and we just got a lot of books in general. So let's jump right in. I hope you guys like it. All right. First book of the week from Archie Comics. We got Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Game On. So another one of the seasonal specials that they put out with Betty and Veronica. It's kind of a one-shot that has a few stories in it. This one is all video game related, so that's pretty neat there too. And there's a lot of the newer characters in the story as well too. So they have a few of those new characters. I forget what her name was, the Cassie Cloudstream or Cassie St. Cloud. She's in there, and they also have Sabrina in there as well too with that new arch nemesis of her, Amber Nightstone, and those two little Halloween spirits or demons there that they introduced last fall as well, Trick or Treat. So good fun read there, and Dan Parent art in there and on the cover as well. Next. Also from Archie, this is one of the digest size one. This is one of those collective series, and this one I thought was the reason I brought it up is because of Free Comic Book Day and also because of it's called Comic Shop Chaos. So a bunch of stories in there with relating to the gang, either in comic shops or having comic shop adventures or just superhero adventures. So that's pretty cool there. So I thought I'd point that out because again, Free Comic Book Day and just bringing more awareness to comic shops in general. I do apologize if I'm rubbing my nose in that. It is allergy season now, and I am just suffering roughly from it. Next on our list. Trying something new this week instead of breaking things down into publishing and Marvel and DC and indie and that. I'm just doing everything in alphabetical order. All right, so next we have Volume 2 from Ablaze. We have Animal Castle. So anyone who enjoyed the Animal Castle Volume 1 last year out, it's back, and it continues on right where the last one left off, continuing on the story. Great book so far, lots of exposition. So if you're not a person that likes to read a lot, don't get this book. But at the same time too, this book has a ton of art at the same time too. So there is a lot of exposition and writing that in it that's kind of small. So one of the reasons I kind of don't rush out, or I do like to get this book, but I don't like reading it right away, is because the print is so kind of small and it kind of hurts my old man eyes. So, but that's more on me in that. But yeah, amazing artwork in here, more of that painted watercolor type of look there. So amazing, amazing, amazing. Not for kids if you're thinking if it's animals and that too, but it's not for kids because it is adult. It's very adult. It takes place about politics, takes place kind of like in the medieval times and that but with animals and that. So and also this week too with Free Comic Book Day, there is a copy of this that's out that has recaps everything that happens in Volume 1 and a little bit of what happens in this book going forward as well. So yeah, check that out, Free Comic Book Day. This book we mentioned a little bit earlier in the show. This has that one has that Batman 900. This is Batman 135 or Batman 100. I believe from now going forward, they're going to go back to the 900 numbers legacy-wise, because then that way you can, of course, get a few more sales out there once you hit those milestones like 925, 950, 975, and then, of course, 1,000. So, yeah, that's what they do. Again, Chip Zdarsky story, great book there too. Just happens to be coincidence-wise. That's if you happen to like this book, get it signed by Chip Zdarsky when he's in town. This continues and kind of I won't say ends, but it kind of concludes as well too. The Batman tripping through the multiverse thing, chasing the Red Mask, which is really like a different version of Joker. This Joker or Red Mask character is going through all the universes trying to go back to when Joker was made and reenact it, so he becomes like the ultimate Joker. And he keeps trying to do this, and it doesn't work. All he keeps doing is creating more and more Jokers. So, really neat story there. We see what Batman does here at the end of last issue. Spoiler for anybody who hasn't read it yet: Batman had his hand chopped off in the end of last issue, so he's still going to be dealing with that going forward. When he's back into the normal universe going forward, they do solicit that he has no hand going forward in the future. So we'll see what happens there. He'll probably have some kind of mechanical hand, kind of like uh, Winter Soldier or like Aquaman did with his hook when I'm back in the 90s. So that's neat there. This book is also enjoyable too because as Batman's kind of tripping through all the multiverses there, you see all the classic Batmans that have come and gone over the years. He meets the Michael Keaton Batman, and he meets like the Adam West Batman, and he meets like the animated Batman, and who else did he meet? And he meets all these different Batmans, that we've seen throughout the years, these different variations. So pretty neat there. Enjoyable. Usually I don't like the whole multiverse and a million different versions of Batmans or Spider-Mans, but this one I did like. Next, from Boom Studios, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Lost Summer. So this is a kind of an anthology type of book. There's a few stories of Buffy characters, not just Buffy herself, but like Spike and Willow and all them, who have some stories that kind of take place in this is kind of lost time. So it gives them kind of an excuse to write up some stories that kind of fit into anywhere. This has a nice Mirka Andolfo cover on it. And yeah, it's great. If you're a Buffy fan, definitely check this out. If you're someone who is maybe not sure of Buffy and don't want to jump into something right now Buffy related because it is you feel like you'll get lost or anything like that, this is a good book to kind of introduce yourself to because it's just a bunch of kind of random stories that don't really link up to anything that would just be enjoyable. So yeah, check it out. From Marvel, we have Groot. Also super appropriate this weekend because Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or Volume 3 as they like to call it, is out, the last of the Guardian movies. Been hearing some good things about it. It's supposed to be a really enjoyable movie, so maybe we'll see if we can maybe get a Nat Daddy review on that because I do believe that Tyler is going to go see that this evening, so maybe I can sneak in there. Hopefully it's not date night or anything, so yeah. Nothing as well as date night like having your dad there, so. Enjoyable book. This is the kind of the origin story of Groot, what happens here is yes, the Marvel or the Screed, the Captain Marvel, I forget what they're called now. The Marvel Corps is out there, and they find this planet that is destructed and totally destroyed. They've been tracking this kind of infection, or this, I guess this might be more like an army or an invading army that are destroying planets, and they find the Groot and two other creatures very similar to Groot. I think one's called Bleak and Blurk, or something like that. Groot sounds, and they find them on the planet and they rescue them in that. So Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, is now taking care of them and seems to have this bond with Groot. So again, kind of an origin story from Groot. Didn't think I was gonna like it at first because I thought it was just gonna be like kind of one of those throwaway unnecessary tie-ins because the movie's coming out and that. But I did enjoy this, so pretty cool. Good for anybody to read, definitely kid-wise too. This book is not. So we got this cute little cat on here and that, and this cat is anything but that. This cat is trouble. So we got from Dark Horse Comics, we got issue 2 of Hairball from Matt Kindt. So he's an amazing writer, great storyteller in general. We have this creepy cat that shows up on the doorstep the same day that this one little girl gets adopted by this her foster family. And as soon as this cat gets brought into the house, the whole family and the household kind of falls under this sense of evil and gloom, and that bad stuff was always happening. And it's because of this cat. And we find out here that this cat's getting worse and worse now. The cat is starting to hurt the people in the home, and that the father has had a stroke because of this cat. And in this episode too, the cat also does kind of starts the house on fire, trying to kill the family in that as well too. The little girl herself is even trying to um, distance herself and get away from this cat too, and the cat just won't leave her alone. And she actually at one point, again, not too much of a spoiler here, but she even drowns and kills the cat. And the cat, just wakes up right away afterwards and starts tormenting him all again. And it's it's a creepy book for sure. I think this is definitely gonna get turned into a movie property of sorts. Um, yeah, that this is the Flux House imprint from Dark Horse, which is run by Matt Kent himself. So pretty cool book so far. Definitely not for kids. This is issue 2. If you can grab issue 1, I would say definitely check it out. Or if you need to wait and one of those people that read it all at once, get it in collected trade paperback when it comes out. But definitely a creepy, spooky cat story. Also in issue number 2, I did a few issue number 2s this week because some of them were this week and some from last week too, just because we had comments I saw lately that about people are like, again, loving the indie books and what's great for indie books and that. So I wanted to throw a few more in here just to kind of, kind of whet people's appetites and hopefully satisfy that. So again, from part of the Shadowline imprint from Image, which we've been talking about a lot lately because we've had the creative team from Dead Romans on. We have Jimmy Robinson's The Junkrabbit. And this is a pretty cool book so far. We're in the future, and you have the rich and the elite that live in these biodomes, and the poor and the wretched and the unwanted are forced to live outside these domes, which is everything is just basically one giant dump, a garbage dump and that. So in these outside cities, the garbage dump, there's kind of like this old urban myth and that of the junk rabbit. So this they don't know if it's a creature or a god or what, but it's like kind of urban myth that they all kind of use as a religious pray to and that. And one day this kind of junk rabbit is there and he kind of does like the whole avenging Robin Hood, do away with evil type of thing. So now the elites are in the city are taking notice and they want to deal with this and that. No, so it doesn't cause an uprising. So great artwork in here so far. Really, really gory. Kind of appropriate with the way stuff's going on in the world today about climates and just way too much garbage and everything like that. So kind of pokes a little bit at the roads that we're all going down and that, what could happen in that. So neat book so far. The way it's told, it looks like everything is going to be super obvious and cliche, but I'm betting to think that there's going to be a twist in there somehow. So we'll see if I'm wrong or if I'm right. But Junkrabbit. This is one book that we kind of talked about a little bit earlier in the week as people were asking what's a great new series to get into. So this is one book I had mentioned of, and it lived up to it. I enjoyed it. From Ani, you got Lamination #1, and a great from another master horror and suspense and just a great storyteller overall. We have Colin Bunn. This is a story of a young woman who is answering a ad to be an actress in a stage play. And she shows up there, and as soon as she gets in there, she sees that they have other people there already, and they are, I guess, practicing and that rehearsals and that. So she walks down there, introduces herself, and instantly she's told she has the part, she has an audition, and she's quite surprised in that. So she takes the script and then starts working on it, and instantly is inserted into it, and everything just seems to be kind of strange because it's happening so fast and everything, and it just seems to be weird in that. So we find out later on that this once you're there, you can't leave in that, and if you do try and leave, bad things happen, and they don't know if it's like supernatural or what there. So we got this weird story now where these people are all trapped in this role where these actors have to do this play, and if they don't do it, they die. Some have been trapped in there for months, and some have been trapped in there for they don't know how long. So super creepy. Yeah, it's weird. I don't really know what's gonna happen. It makes you think of like a Twilight Zone episode or a Tales from the Crypt or Tales from the Dark Side. So another hit from Cullen Bunn there. I hope I get to see him or meet him one day and get some autographs because I would love that because I really care and like about his work a lot. So great story there. Also for this book too, there's a secret cover that looks just like this. That's purple that a lot of people don't know about or and are missing. So definitely check that. Um, let's see what happens. I missed out. Another very adult book. It's almost well, not almost is. It's disturbing. It's almost hard to read a little bit. This is issue 7 and the final issue of Lovesick. A book where it's all about snuff films and porn films and red rooms and cannibalism and that. So very dark book about this woman who is the leader of kind of like this cult, this red room, and she has these like obedient servants that volunteer to be murdered and have sex and murdered with on camera and that. And she herself is also obsessed with somebody else that has gone has ties throughout the her whole life. It's just crazy weird sickness in that. At the same time, it is a super it is a great story in that, but it's just like not for the faint of heart. Very graphic. Like I said, the material is very sensitive, and there are lots of gore, lots of adult themes, like you said, like pornography and that. So if you're okay with that or willing to take a try, do check this whole series out. Like I said, this is issue 7, so I'm sure there'll be a collected work pretty soon. But yeah, don't be warned because it is very graphic, but a great story though, if you can get through it. For something a little less offensive, a little more family friendly, even though it looks kind of scary here. This is from Marvel. We have Cult of Carnage Misery. I like this book. Again, I mentioned a little bit earlier, kind of like about the multiverse stuff. I'm not a huge fan of symbiote stuff. That's what this is here. Liz Osborne or Liz Allen, she's going back to nowadays, is still running Alchemix, and she has been experimenting with all the symbiotes there, trying to create some kind of advanced sleep in modern medicine, using their properties to heal and cure people and that. Of course, it doesn't work out, and things happen, and she ends up getting turned into a new type of symbiote that is part carnage and part antivenom, and calls herself Misery. So yeah, let's see what goes from there. I did like this. The art was really good in there. And yeah, like I said, I was quite a little bit surprised because I don't really like symbiote stuff just because it's too easy to, I don't know, spin off a million of them like the multiverse stuff. But this one's a good start so far. And like I said, if you are a collector of first appearances or Spidey villains or Spidey characters and that, this would be up there for you. Another one of these books that we had mentioned earlier the week that we're going to cover that was one of the indie ones to check out was from Mad Cave Studios. We have Monomyths. This is a neat book for sure. I quite enjoyed it. Kind of has that really Harry Potter feel, kind of in a loose sense, but also at the same time like a super dark version of it. We have, I think there's 7 of them. 7 people who get gathered there at a time where magic has almost become non-existent. It's been wiped out by just by non-magic users. So this old ancient kind of school gathers up these 7 people, and these 7 people are going to be trained to become the last of these new magicians and that. So very dark. I enjoyed it so far. Again, it sounds similar to a book we covered a few weeks ago, but it's not. But I did enjoy this one, so I would check it out for sure. This book I had originally intended to cover last week and then didn't because a lot of people didn't get this book until this week for whatever reason. Most stores or a lot of stores didn't get this book until this week, so I held off. I was able to get it last week, so I did it. But We have from Vault Comics, we have the second volume of the Money Shot series. It's called Money Shot Comes Again by Tim Seeley. Usually when we review Tim Seeley books, it's all supernatural stuff or vampire stuff, so it's a little bit different. This is a series, again, super adult and maybe not for everyone just because of the content in it, even though this one is done not in a horror way, it's in a it's straight up adult comedy. We have the people you see on the cover there, and these people are actually space explorers slash porn stars. They use the money they make being porn stars out in space to fund their space exploration. So I mean, not only do they just have sex out in space in that, but they have like sex there with like aliens in that too. So again, it sounds really weird, but super funny, but very adult humor. So again, you gotta um, yeah, if you can't watch something like Boogie Nights or something like that without being offended, that don't read this book. But again, super hilarious. It is kind of good to know what's going on if you have a little bit of a backstory on it if you've read issue or volume 1, but you don't have to necessarily because they do enough of a recap throughout the issue 1 here. But if anyone is a fan or remembers the 70s comic Cherry Pop Tart, which was kind of like a pornographic parody of the like Archie characters type of thing. They bring her back for this here too. That they create her. She's a they create a new IP of Cherry Pop Tart, and she's going to be one of the I guess one of the crew members in that part of the porn team. And that so funny stuff here, but again, not for kids. And yeah, so be aware of that. Something your kids probably would like, but this is definitely not for kids. This is from the Black Label. We have DC, so again, those are adult oriented. This is Peacemaker Tries Hard. This is if you're a fan of the Peacemaker character of John Cena from the movies and from the TV show, totally right up your alley here. This is him. He is out, living in the world. He's been released from the Suicide Squad. He's not doesn't have to work for them anymore in that, but he does do a job for Amanda Waller just because of she kind of guilts him into being doing it all for peace type of thing. So he goes in and does this job and ends up coming back with that little dog on the cover there, which I don't understand, like how he can have a dog and have the eagle too. They don't mention the eagle at all in this book. Weird. So he's got this dog there, and he ends up running errand, and the dog gets stolen. And the dog gets stolen by the evil villain, the Brain, which is basically just a brain in a jar. And the brain in the jar wants in exchange to give the dog back to Peacemaker. He wants him to go get the most advanced DNA in the world to make his perfect body. I won't tell you who it is, but it's going to be it's an amazing supervillain. So it's going to be this amazing supervillain against Peacemaker and that. So it's super funny. Lots of action in here, lots of adult humor. Yeah, definitely check this out here. Again, it is a Black Label title, so you're paying just a little bit more because of that. But again, great artwork in here. Very, very funny, and not for anybody that is easily offended. One book that won't offend anybody, and it's also I enjoy it as well too, because the artwork in here is by Dan Mora. The artwork. You have kind of not a reboot, but kind of a reboot or a soft reboot, or part of that new Dawn of DC relaunch is Shazam. So what's been going on in the Shazam universe lately is Shazam himself, Billy Batson, kind of gave up his powers to Mary. She became Shazam, and then Mary just recently we've mentioned in the last few months that she gave her powers to be for Wonder Woman, to become the ultimate kind of Wonder Woman Shazam, to fight those dark gods. And what we're finding out here now is Shazam has his powers back, but he's the only one that's allowed to have powers. He can't share it with his family and that. So we have this new adventure of Shazam, and it was a lot of fun, I must say. I do like the Shazam character. I think a lot of times it just gets people try and take him too serious, like he's a like a Superman character or a Batman character in that, but he's not. He is a kid, and he is kind of, he's just in adult form, but he's still a kid in that. So lots of goofy stuff going on here, but a lot of fun as well too. So I did enjoy this, and I hope it gets a few more people checking it out more than past the first issue. So. From Marvel, we have Edge of the Spider-Verse. The new Spider-Verse movie is coming out pretty soon, so they've been putting out a lot of these Spider-Verse books lately. This one here isn't really a one like the other ones have been, where it's like some of the Spider-Man figures or the Web Warriors and traveling out through dimensions with a continuing story. This is actually just a couple of stories featuring some different Spider-Verse characters, almost like a not an anthology, I guess, because there's only 2 stories. But we have the what you see on the cover there. We have the Spider-Rex story, which is the story of kind of like we saw in the last couple of months ago, where they had the Jurassic League. We have the Spider-Man universe that's all in prehistoric times. So you got the Spider-Rex there, and you got Venomous Rex and that, and you got your J. Jonah Jamesons and your Gwen Stacy's and that, all as dinosaur characters. So that's pretty funny. I enjoyed that more than I thought. And then there's another story in there involving the Spider Killer. So again, fun stuff there. I know, third time I've said it this episode already, but I don't usually like that Spider-Verse stuff because I like Spider-Man. I don't like 1,000 different Spider-Man. So, but this one was pretty fun. From Image Comics, we have Star Signs. Fun book. This book was one of the ones that we had mentioned earlier in the week, and I enjoyed it. What happens in this is current times. One day, just all of a sudden, in the night sky, the constellations are there, and then kind of like the zodiac signs all show around them, because that's what the constellations really are in that. And then the sky just kind of shatters and goes black. And since then, there's been you can't see the sky anymore. It's just black at night, so nobody can see the constellations. So then now people are still moving forward in that. It's affected some people more than others, but the rest of the world just kind of keeps moving forward in that. And we also find out now too that certain people are kind of showing up with these powers and being discovered in that. And this young woman on the cover there seems to be the first one. And it seems like these powers are kind of connected to the zodiac constellations as well too. So we'll see what happens there. Good start so far. And I really like the artwork in here too. So this one has a little bit of humor, comedy in it as well too. So that's kind of fun too. The woman on the cover there is kind of this young Lebanese woman living in an apartment with a roommate, and she's kind of a stoner slacker type of person. So pretty funny there. From Dark Horse, we have Survival. Interesting story here. You got a woman who's heading back to Alaska to see her father, and it's also kind of like a military retreat. He's very super rigid military, almost militia type, or I guess not almost, but is militia type. Now she's heading back there, and that she is herself also, from all these years of her growing up with her dad, has been kind of turned into like this I won't say it's ultra soldier, but she's a soldier as well too, but no, just not as I guess racist and all that as well too, just a regular person. So she heads back there, and then just before she arrives there, out in the middle of the woods, there is a small plane crash, and everyone on the plane is dead, except one person there, and it's that person in the cover there. And he seems to be Russian in that. So something has this plane's probably from Russia, since they're in Alaska, and some kind of ancient evil has been released from it too. So now everyone throughout the town is kind of getting turned into like these possessed monsters and zombies and that. So great start here so far, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this one a lot. From IDW, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Usagi Yojimbo #2. This is this is the second issue that we covered a month ago, where the turtles get sent back to time to have another adventure with Usagi Yojimbo. Great so far. I really quite enjoyed this. Awesome artwork in here. You got Stan Sakai doing the whole artwork, interiors there, and the cover as well. So he does an awesome job of doing the turtles as well. And this will be the last story or the last series of Usagi Yojimbo involved with IDW, because that property is moving back to Dark Horse, because IDW is losing all their properties, and it has been mentioned earlier in the week in the news and that they actually have gone into bankruptcy protection. So hopefully they get a chance to get out of that. Last book on our list this week is from Scout Comics, and this is the Unicorn Vampire Hunter, and this is part of their Non-Stop line. So what happens with Non-Stop is they put out the first issue of the comic, and then the rest of the series itself is actually not put out individually. It's put out in trade paperbacks. I guess there's probably like 4 or 5 issue sizes, 6 maybe. And they'll put it out in the one collected format. So they only put out the one issue as a kind of like as a sampler in that. I know a lot of people don't like that non-stop imprint, how they do that. I think myself it's a neat idea though, because one, especially for these independent comics and that, a lot of people buy issue ones, or just in comics in general. But then by issue 2, 3, 4, or whatever, and that, no, it drops in half and half and half by each time. So for anybody who wants to read the series, they can definitely buy the issue one, and then buy the rest of the series in collected format. And if you didn't care for the rest of the series, then you don't have to worry about buying it. And then the company's not putting those books out and nobody's buying them. So kind of a good situation there. I've bought a few of these books by the Non-Stop imprint, but I've never bought any of the follow-ups, like the collected volumes, because I've just never liked any of the books enough to do that. Who knows? Maybe one day they'll do a collected version of all the collected versions. So we'll see. All right, so that was a lot of books this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's something that I didn't cover that you want covered, let me know, or something coming up in the future that you do want to know about, just put in the comments as well, and I'll try to address that. But other than that, you guys all have an amazing weekend. Like I said, do definitely check out the free comic book day if you can. Like I said, if you're in Winnipeg the following weekend, check out the Chip Zdarsky stuff at 204 Comics. Otherwise, I will see you guys all hopefully on Saturday night for things are getting sketchy. Again, see you guys later.